Hello educators, in this Loom video we're going to be taking a look how you can just post one assignment to Google Classroom, and it's the same assignment that your students click into or open up each day to make their lives and also your life a little bit easier. And the way we're kind of going to do this is by using a view-only slide deck or a view-only Google slideshow. And that one view-only slide deck is going to contain all of our class materials for each day or links to them. And it's also going to update for students each night or each morning as we get ready for our next lesson. So quickly, we're going to take a look at Google Classroom at what this looks like for our students. There's only one math materials document they ever need to open, and it's the same link each time they go there. For a lot of our students, they just create a bookmark. You can see up here, I've bookmarked both the teacher version and the student version for myself. And we encourage a lot of students to just bookmark this so that they can easily click into this assignment to start each day. For a lot of kids too, we also just paste the link. You see me right here. A lot of times we just go ahead for the student version and we paste that link into the chat for some of our kids who still haven't created the bookmark. But this makes it easy for every student to get into the one document we need that day for our work. And before we dive into this document, which you can find, by the way, at tinyurl.com/DohertyMathMaterials. If you type that in, you'll get right into this document that has all of our math lessons for the entire year in it. And what we want to talk about quickly is view-only documents versus edit privileges documents versus make a copy documents. If it's view-only, only you and your co-teachers, if you give them privileges, can edit or change these things. And this is what we use for our main math document. Our students cannot actually edit or change it, but it automatically, this allows us to update it even mid-class or every night, and so the updates just show to the students as soon as we make them. Now, you're probably saying sometimes your students need to work on stuff or type answers in, and you're totally right, and we're going to talk about how we link towards documents where everybody has edited privileges, or how we link towards Google Classroom assignments if we need a copy for every student for them to write some answers or thoughts down. But this main document we're looking at here is going to be view only, and that's really the key ingredient to be able to update it and change it each night and keep making this a living document. So from there, we'll also mention quickly that we have a teacher copy and a student copy. And by me having a teacher copy and a student copy, you see those two bookmarks here, it allows me to edit, make changes, things like that, and prepare it. And then the morning of our lesson, I can just copy those slides and drop them into the student version. So again, all the master changes always happen in the teacher copy, and then when a new day's lesson gets there, all that we do is we clear out that student link. We actually delete everything that's in there. And now that the teacher copy has everything it used to have and also the new day's lesson added on, we just select and copy and paste all these slides into the student version. So it looks like the teacher side at that point. So I click on the first slide, scroll down, and I'm going to hold the Shift key and click on the last slide that I want to include. Sometimes below this, I still have stuff that I'm working on for future days or things I might use in the future, and then I just keep the top of this teacher copy as what I want my students to be seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and use Command-C to copy all 16 of those slides, and then I'm just going to use Command-V to paste those slides into the student version. And now here you can actually see we've got a student idle, but a couple students in there, and then they would just automatically see the day's materials updated. So the next thing we're going to talk about as we dive into this document is the idea of using both internal links, which just link to a later part of the slide deck, and then also external links, which help our students get into anything that we're doing in another shared document or any other assignment on Google Classroom or Khan Academy that we might be doing. So if you go back to the top here, this is the calendar, what our students see. And each day we use this green shading to indicate what day we're on for our students, and any key links would be there showing the students what we're doing that day. The first link is always taking them to the first slide in this major slide deck where our work is. So if our students click day 21, this is just an internal link. It pulls them down to slide 12 in here. And slide 12 is where our lesson for today, Tuesday, begins. So this makes it easy for students to not have to scroll through the larger slide deck. They know it's Tuesday, they can click down. And the benefit is also if they want to review the day's work before, it's just kind of sitting right up there in the earlier slides, or they even could have used this link here, day 20 materials, to go look at what we did Monday for the first page. So that's the idea of an internal link. We also use external links in this document. External links link to either other Google slide decks that the students might be able to edit, or assignments on Google Classroom, Khan Academy, Flipgrid, some other stuff that we use. So the first type of external link we're going to show you is what we use for our workbooks. Because students can't edit this document, when we explore problems in groups, we do need students to have their own version that they can type answers and thoughts into, both to help them and to hold them accountable. And that's, for example, where you see these class workbooks here. So on Monday, like most days, we started with a breakout room problem. So if you were in the first homeroom, students know that click this 307 link when we start class. We also give them a link in the chat. And then that's going to go ahead and open up for them the workbook that we use that day. And all that workbook's doing, we'll click down to day 20 materials. That workbook for them is helping them take this problem, which we looked at together in our whole class materials, which was the breakout problem that we prompted originally. And then when they go to breakout rooms and they need to actually type answers and thoughts, each breakout room has their own slide in this workbook. So you see this is actually a two-part problem. There were two slides, or one was find slope between 2 points. The other question that day was find slope on a graph. And since we had 4 breakout rooms, we just used different colors. Our red team for city year is always Miss Custodio, or our awesome city year member. Our blue team, our students know each day for our classes when we have Mr. Chu with us, which is awesome to have. We know Mr. Chu's team is always on the blue slide. And then, for example, for this class, we also, you see we have a bunch of awesome teachers here. Mr. Cruz's group jumps into the green slide, and kids who are with me, they stay on the purple slide. One quick hint there, whenever you're doing breakout rooms, you as the teacher with the host, you should just stay yourself in the main room and send kids to other breakout rooms, and that works so that you don't get any stragglers that are left behind. So as much as we call breakout room 4 a breakout room, that's really just kids staying in my main Zoom room as the other groups go into 3 actual breakout rooms. And the benefit here is now students, they can kind of show their work, and you see some of the work is in here from who the purple team was with us. And it allows them to do things like drag some of these symbols that we have around that students put into place, and then type in their thoughts and answers here as a collective. At the end of this lesson, we always kind of jump down to this yellow slide we use to tell students that's what we do at the end when we come back as a whole class. We get finalized answers and we try as a class. The students put the answers in for us, but we have a recap discussion as a whole class to hit that. So that's the idea of, for example, or one example of how we could use an external link, even though this is view only, to have students typing and collaborating together. At other times, rather than having a document that's shared that every student can edit and it's just one version, you need a copy for each student to be able to type stuff. For example, we're doing reflections or self-assessments right now, and we need each student to type up their self-assessment or their responses. And for those, unfortunately, you are going to have to post something to Google Classroom. So you'll see, for example, me below the math materials, we did need to post an assignment to Classroom if we wanted each kid to do a self-assessment in order to kind of be able to create that copy for every student. So again, we went in there, we created an assignment, and this was make a copy, so it actually made its own version for all 26 students. But to keep it easy for our students, we always link to those from our work that day. So both in the master calendar, if they were to click this link, it would take them for 307 right to that Google Classroom assignment where they have their copy sitting. So everything still links out of this main document. Separately, same thing later on when we're actually in class going through this, students would have a link right here into that self-assessment. So when we get later in class and we specifically have a slide to cover that day, we do make sure to duplicate those links again to keep it easy for students to jump into that assignment. The last thing I kind of want to show, actually we're going to cut it off because the video is at 9 minutes. Thanks for watching.